go, babies.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Ray has already fucked up the show, so nothing new there. Welcome back to another thrilling episode of Simple Mind Sports Show, the latest and greatest in New England sports. Today, the Red Sox are playing a dangerous, in my opinion, annoying game. They're doing just enough to come up short. They've obviously landed what they consider to be their ace pitcher. I've got question marks about that. Certainly, there are question marks surrounding that. Is it enough? Should they do more? Can they do more? Obviously, the answers there are yes, but what can they specifically do to turn the tides? We want to do that. Yeah, Bobby, we're starting Red Sox. We are starting Red Sox. We should have told you. You could have come in a little bit later, but now you're here to suffer. But we're going to do more than that. We're going to start Red Sox. Their refusal to set the markets and intentionally stay a step behind. What that means for them, can they turn the tides? Then we'll get into our Patriots stuff. All right. Hot seat population, Gerard Mayo. Is it actually coming true? Could our dreams be happening before us? Conflicting reports there at Foxborough yet again. Bill Belichick, the newest head coach of the UNC Tar Heels. That's a weird one. Touch on that. The Celtics' future. This part of an NBA season, weird to talk about the roster construction moving forward, but there's a reason. There's got to be a reason that all of these reports are starting to come up, including Derek White on the trading block. Didn't think we'd hear about that. This or that with Chief Bobby in a Simplest Minds of the Week, as always. And always we start with opening takes. We're taking a risk here. Bobby, I'm going to ask you to go first. Ray, don't steal his fucking take.
Boys, I figured it out. I figured out how Robert Kraft can get rid of Gerard Mayo while saving face. Promote him. Those from the corporate world know this is the exact way to do this. When you bring somebody along and you don't want to prove that you fucked up, you get that man another job. You promote him. You promote Gerard Mayo into some whatever VP of operations role where he can go out in front of the media and spout his corporate nonsense. Kraft gets the save face and the Patriots get a new head coach. It's perfect. I have solved it. I am a genius.
I don't hate that idea. VP of bullshit. That'd be great for Coach Vibes. They already have one. VP of, call it malarkey, I think is what.
Wow, you're old. That's very old school language you're going with.
I love it. I love the title. VP of malarkey for Ben McAdoo is pretty much spot on. You put the VP of bullshit right next to him and Coach Vibes and bring Vrabel or someone in here to actually do the football.
It's a perfect solution.
We are demoting Covington. So we've already got a nice demotion in play and a perfect promotion. Right out of the Optum Craft Management Playbook. I like it, Bobby. We are onto something. You are onto something there. Absolutely love it. Ray, in an effort not to have my shit stolen, which way would you? I will go next, but can you give me a hint of what you'd like to talk about?
Belichick, UNC.
Okay. I will go Belichick, UNC. No.
I thought you would.
I know. I don't really have a take on that. I'm actually not fired up about it as a lot of people. I will go Red Sox here. There's how we started the show, the offseason. They have finally made a move. They have taken one step beyond Chaim Bloom and his tenure here. They have let go of one of their top three prospects in Kyle Teal. But is it enough? No, it is not enough for me. They have to do more. And there's intentional, deliberate response to stay a step behind the market or competitiveness, all having to do with money, is still frustrating. They still have to do more, and it feels like we're getting an insight into why that's happening, which is kind of what I want to talk about when we get to the Red Sox segment. So go ahead, Ray. Let's hear your Belichick to Tar Heels opening take.
No, just imagine you're so close to your final career goal of being the all-time winning coach in the NFL. You could go to the cemetery, piss all over Shula's grave and say, "Ha ha, motherfucker, I did it." Only to find out no one wants you anymore. And now you're going to UNC, not the most prestigious college football town of all. Bobby, you probably tell us more, but yeah, it's not in Alabama, it's not in LSU, it's not in Michigan or Ohio State. It's fucking UNC football. I mean, how low have you gone to the bottom of the cellar of the college or football ranks to go to college football and at UNC? Bad look. It was a bad press conference. It was just an ugly thing. We'll talk more about it later, but woof, it is bad for Belichick.
Where would you put yourself on the ladder of final career milestones and goal lines? Was it when you got your desk at your plumber factory?
No, I think it's when your mother decided to do anal
Okay,
work.
I got you. We'll be talking about that. Of course, everything's on the table in the Simple Mind Sports Show. Friday Rewind, December 13th. Friday the 13th? Okay.
Yep.
Live here, December 12th. Welcome to the show. The Celtics are dumb front-running pussies. This is the same team they have been for 4 years running.
Well, my worst nightmare came true. Missoula and Mayo are friends. What the fuck? Apparently, they've known each other since Virginia. They have these docking sessions where they talk about ball and managing people.
I'm on vacation. I'm going to quay all these. I'm going to fucking watch them this week.
Do you say quay?
Is it not quay?
It's Q. It's Q. It's Q-U-E. You idiot. If you idiots out there not quaying this live broadcast every Thursday night at 8 p.m. on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, then you are right there at the bottom of the totem pole with Dr. Botpat himself. Bottom of the totem pole of dumb. That's where Ray resigns. If you're not clicking the subscribe button here, you're going to be there right with him. So welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, you're welcome. Bobby's got a new room. Looks great. Ray's real hyper. Wherever you're listening, your favorite podcast platform, rate, subscribe, review, and check the link here, either in the profile or in the comments, to get your free access to our newsletter Behind the Paywall. We'll read, curate, summarize, give you our opinions on the biggest stories from Boston sports, from your paywalled sites like ESPN, The Athletic, The Globe, The Herald, Boston Sports Journal, so on and so forth. We'll tell you what's going on. We'll give you the best pieces from those articles. So you don't have to read it. You don't have to pay for it. Keep it simple. So go subscribe to that, either in the comments here or at simplemindsports.com. The Red Sox, Raymond, I'm going to talk to you here. Bobby doesn't know.
Because Bobby probably doesn't know.
I have a lot to say on this topic.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to it. Red Sox refuse to improve their team by setting the market, specifically in pitching. But let's start with the big trade that went down this week. Garrett Crochet, a longtime target for the Red Sox, traded from the White Sox for your fourth best prospect, depending on what you're looking at. Catcher Kyle Teal, your first-round draft pick last year, Braden Montgomery, the infielder Chase Midrow, and then something called Gonzalez, Boston's number 11th prospect. We don't pretend to be baseball prospect nerds on the show.
Bill fucking knew everything about these people, and I was dumbfounded when he was spewing off the.
For anybody new to the show, Bill was our old co-host that Ray has an affection for because he's actually his stepfather. So he brings him up from time to time. We used to call him the Queen because he was a real douchey cunt. And he does enjoy baseball, and we go to him from time to time in our text chain for things like this. And he was a big proponent of this deal, as am I. Kyle Teal is no small thing to get rid of. He's the number 25 overall prospect in America.
All of baseball.
A good hitting catcher is not easy to come by. They've been touting this kid for years now. So certainly a prospect haul. They gave up a significant amount in prospects to land Mr. Garrett Crochet, who by all accounts is a stud, or at least has stud-like makeup in his stuff and his size, 6'4", like 250 or something, 245.
Giant.
Hard throwing lefty. There's a lot of, you could compare him to a number of pitchers. Chris Sale comes up because they had a similar deal with Chris Sale 8 years ago from the White Sox, except this kid's not going to get hurt when someone blows on his wrist. Doesn't seem like. He has dealt with injuries.
I was going to say he had Tommy John surgery, so.
Everyone gets Tommy John surgery. That was the first question I asked Billy Baseball. When did he have Tommy John surgery? 2 years ago. It's a perfect time to get a 25-year-old pitcher 2 years removed from Tommy John, because it's a rite of passage in baseball these days. Yeah. Everyone has to get it.
That's when you know you've made it into the
He had
MLB,
it already?
it. Yeah.
What was he, 23? He had Tommy John surgery?
Bobby, I know you weren't a baseball guy, but you played Little League. And you'll remember this, right? And we weren't allowed to throw curveballs until like high school because everyone knew it was going to fuck up your arm, and they thought it would like screw up your development of growth. And now these kids are throwing as hard as they possibly can, which is much torque as they possibly can, as early as anybody with that mindset can get their hand on them, which is all youth.
We would still do it with wiffle balls.
Sure, which was worse for you. The point is you're not supposed to, and they are now. So everyone gets Tommy John surgery at 20 years old. Here's the bigger point, though, Raymond. They're going to get this kid for $3 million. All right, so I want to get into the money of this, but his arbitration years are kicking in, and he has such little service time in the MLB. He started as a reliever, worked his way up to pitcher. I think most of the reports of this kid, he's good. He's awesome. His stuff is great. He's got some question marks on the makeup because last year's trade deadline, he said he would refuse to play for a team that traded for him without an extension. sometimes crazy shit comes out when you're on the worst team in MLB history, which is basically what the White Sox were last year. So maybe he gets a little grace period, a little leeway there. But bottom line, mostly good stuff, but certainly question marks. He's only got one good year as a pitcher, which was last year. He still finished with a mid-3 ERA. But for the Red Sox, you give up one of your top prospects, but you're only going to have to pay this guy $3 million next year, and then you got 2 years of control with him. Seemed like the right price. Ray, before I get your opinion on it, let's hear what Mr. Craig Breslow had to say.
A legitimate number one starter in Garrett, left-handed, ton of swing and miss, massive strikeouts, and feel like the best is still in front of him. So we're excited about what he brings, and obviously, we needed to trade really good players in order to be able to do this, but that's the cost right now, and we're very much focused on what we were able to get, the excitement that we have around adding him to the rotation. It adds depth, it adds quality, bona fide ace, and someone like that, like I said, that we feel, is going to continue to improve. Really excited about getting him into our pitching infrastructure, getting a chance for him to work with Bales, and winning a bunch of games at Fenway Park for us.
Bobby, I know you don't know who that is. What's your initial reaction from that man speaking?
Well, so from that guy, that he's a fucking dweeb. Number one, okay, he's very nerdy, and he said he was excited. That does not look like excitement. All right, I know what excitement looks like, and that's not it.
You gotta put a nice Dungeons and Dragons in front of him, or something like that to get him fired up. That's Craig Breslow. I'm not sure what his title is. He's not. They don't do GMs over there, the Red Sox. He's president of baseball operations, probably. Ray, what's your take on just stuck with the Garrett Crochet deal and player, and your thoughts?
Deal, great. I mean, you bring it over someone that actually has talent. As you can see, he played in the major leagues, so you're not banking on these minor league kids anymore. So I like that. I don't like his attitude. I don't like the whole, if I go to a contender, I want to be getting an extension. He does have some sort of crazy in him, like Chris Sale did. Also, the Red Sox are cheap fucks because they have missed out on opportunity after opportunity and don't want to spend money. So they're trying to appease the fans by trading some of their prospects to bring in a quote-unquote ace that isn't really proven anything on a worst team in the baseball, to now pay him, $3 million, and hope everyone just doesn't look at everyone else signing players like the Yankees, who now have a bona fide top 5 rotation in the MLB.
Yeah, that's where your mind has to go. My mind is like, you can't trust the Red Sox. Since 2020, they've been feeding us bullshit about how they're going to spend, how they're going to attack. Last year was full throttle, and they continue to do less and less every season. And we've seen what the payroll looks like from John Henry. John Henry and his stooges continue to treat Boston Red Sox fans like a bunch of dopes. And we're not. We see right through the bullshit every single time, every single year. And now, you've really reached the peak of non-trust. This is a good deal for the Red Sox. It's a deal that we've been asking them to do for a very long time, and nobody can get excited about it because we're just waiting for the shoe to drop, which is another fake pursuit for a top-line player in the game. They I'm going to put this in air quotes for anyone listening. They lost out on Juan Soto by $65 million in a couple years. They were 3 steps behind that negotiation the entire time on purpose. Go see Mookie Betts. Go see Xander Bogaerts for other examples of the way that the Red Sox management and really ownership want to pursue high-end, a.k.a. really expensive players. Spoiler alert, they don't. Same thing with Fried, who went to the Yankees for 8 years and $218 million. You know what the Red Sox offer was? 7 years, $180 million. They were just a year off. If you're going to offer 180 over 7, then offer 218 over 8 if you actually want the player. It's not that hard. And you had an in with him. Lucas Giolito went to high school with him. He was linked to the Red Sox. He wanted to go to the Red Sox. If they wanted him, they could have got him for an extra year on the deal, on an 8-year deal for a 30-year player. It's not going to matter. You're going to lose that deal in the back end on these baseball contracts anyway. So that is why nobody trusts them. They are disingenuous at this time of year pursuing high-end players. And it's frustrating as hell, and it sucks.
Hey, but they were in on it.
Yeah, right. Just like Corbin Burns is still out there, and that's still a possibility. Hey, if they get Corbin Burns, everything's going to be okay. Corbin Burns, Bobby, is the top pitcher on the free agency market right now. Bona fide stud, MLB stud, but 30 years old. They don't want to play him $200 million for 6 years, which honestly, I'm kind of okay with that. It's not a good business decision to pay a 30-year-old pitcher in the MLB upwards of $30 million a year for the next 7 seasons. You're going to lose the end of that deal. But that's what you do when you're a big market team and your revenues are the top 3 in all of professional sports and you're worth $5 billion and you charge the most ticket prices in the league. You're supposed to go get that guy and lose some money on the back end in pursuit of championships. They're not. We know that. Stop lying to us. Okay, let me stop chirping and let me hear Tomasi talk about this. This clip's a little dated. It was after the Soto thing, before Crochet, but he does get to, and
but he explains everything pretty much like
he
on
gets
par,
to the
like
without me fucking blabbering on and sound like an idiot.
56% saying, yeah, that's way too much money. John, how should Red Sox fans feel about the fact that they were in the sweepstakes, but just $65 million short?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, 56% of our viewers are wrong. Like, you should not feel good about losing out on Juan Soto. I do think that it is fair to say that Steve Cohen was not going to lose this player. And so even if the Red Sox had said 775, he would have said 800. If they said 800, he would have said 850. This was going to end with Juan Soto in a Mets uniform. I am not yet willing to give the Red Sox credit for how far they were willing to go. Obviously, it is going to depend on what they do the rest of the offseason. But unlike last year, when you remember they offered $300 million for Yamamoto, they didn't get him, and then they didn't spend any of it. They just kept it. This time around, Phil, I do think they are going to spend, and Red Sox fans, it may not be a Juan Soto caliber player, but there's going to be real players on this team in spring training.
Yeah, they obviously need to, and fans should be disappointed. If they thought this guy was going to be the centerpiece of the next great Red Sox team, this should disappoint you, because this is the kind of conversation that the Red Sox should be in on a regular basis, is being in the running for one of, if not the highest paid player in baseball. And so it's disappointing to me, because clearly they're interested. Clearly they were making pushes until the very end to try to get somewhat close. Although at the end of the day, Giles, it sounds like they weren't really even all that close at all. And so my whole thing is, if you're going to be in on these guys and you know it's going to get ridiculous, it's going to get bonkers. It always does with players of this caliber. Be willing to get a little nuts. Be willing to take that extra step and actually go the distance. It doesn't feel like they were willing to do that.
Yeah, my greater point here is stop jerking us around. If your plan is to be a upper mid-market style team where you're not going to spend top of the dollar and set markets on free agents, then have a different plan and be better at it. Don't waste your time faking a pursuit for Juan Soto. Go to the guy that's the next tier down and be the first one to offer him a good contract, not a great one, and set the mid-tier market. Like, just be proactive in whatever plan that you have. It seems like they are consistently reacting really to fan feedback more than anything else. I mean, that's probably why Devers is still here, because they booed John Henry at the Winter Classic a few years ago.
Do you think that the possibility that like the fans are just finally like sick of it? Like, if you listen to Felger and Maz, you listen to 98.5, people are calling in, and even though they're in these pursuits and even though they got Crochet, they know they're full of shit, and that's probably the last move they're going to make. Like, you're going to get all these like mid-level guys now to fill up the roster spots or, you know, fill the holes, whatever you need. But it's like they're finally figuring out like this is bullshit, and the only way to do it, to stick it to Henry, is not go to these games. And a lot of these people are not getting season tickets or not renewing because they're sick of the bullshit. Like, one guy called in and he said, like, I pay 6 figures for my fucking season tickets and I'm done. I'm done with the bullshit. I'm not doing this anymore. So I think fans are finally like on an uproar.
Yeah, but he paid the 6 figures.
No, I know, but he's done. I mean, that's what you're seeing. I mean,
they're losing market share. They're losing market share to the other teams, and they're, you know, the problem is Fenway is a destination for tourists.
That's the problem. It's a fucking It's like
so the gate sales are still up, but they are probably taking a bath with their bullshit Nesson product. You know, that's where a lot of their revenue used to come from. That a lot of, and the Yankees and any of those teams that own their own broadcasting, that generated a ton of money, and now with streaming and the internet, it just is not the cash cow it used to be. So,
well, did you hear what they're doing now too? They're selling, so basically like other markets, so let's call it Oakland or whatever they're called now, Sacramento. They're like selling their stream to them so they can have their products watched over there.
Yeah.
So that's how they're trying to like make their money back, kind of.
Yeah, I heard that. It's a weird time. And baseball's always been crappy with that. They've had, you know, you couldn't take their clips or repost their clips from MLB.com. They had trademarks on it. Like, they just made it impossible to share their sport in an era where it's all about sharing stuff over social media. And they just,
it's an old man's game, man. It's an old man's fucking, they're all angry.
I did that rant last week, but I don't need to do that again. Let me ask you this final question, because going a little bit late here and Bobby's falling asleep. They have to do more. Okay. They have said that they're going to do more. They continue to say that they are in pursuit of another rotation pitcher. They're not signing Corbin Burns, so everyone can get that out of their head. The latest rumor is they are in talks with the Seattle Mariners for one of their starting pitchers, who everybody wants to think that it's Kirby. It's not Kirby. It's Luis Castillo, who's a 32-year-old good pitcher with 3 years left on a $20 million deal, right in the Red Sox fucking wheelhouse. He's pretty good. Number 2, Billy Baseball's loved him, but he's not your bona fide starter. You're going to have to hope that Crochet is ready to take on that role as a bona fide MLB starter. And that will be a home run for the Red Sox. He'll be cheap, and he's an ace. Those guys are not hard to come by. That's a nice little fucking trick Breslov just played there if he can do it. So look, if they go trade for Castillo, Bregman is lightning rod in the organization right now. Some of them want him. The nerds don't. Alex Bregman, third baseman from the Astros, 2-time World Series champion, baller, leader, good guy, good baseball player. They need a right-handed bat. Teoscar Hernandez is the other guy that's rumored to be coming to the Red Sox. He was rumored to come here last year. He wants to come here. He's a World Series champion. Go give the guy the money to come here. You have a $140 million payroll. You got $100 million to go to hit that tax threshold, Johnny. Just pay him the money. Pay somebody the money. They still haven't paid anybody any fucking money. So if they do that, they get a right-handed bat, they get 2 front-end starting pitchers, and fill out that bullpen with a couple arms. Look, you're in the playoffs. So ticket sales will continue to go up. And when the Red Sox are good and relevant, in August and September, they come back. People they're interested. They just are. Can't help it. It's the Red Sox in Boston.
A night in Boston, nice summer night like that, late in the summer. It's beautiful. It's fun to go down there and Fenway, have some cocktails and fucking, go watch the team. But look,
as much as we shit on baseball, September and August baseball, the pursuit of the pennant, the pursuit of the playoffs and playoff baseball, it's still entertaining, high drama stuff.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It's just it's too long of a season and people get dragged down in the dog days.
Yeah.
All right, let's leave it there. Certainly a lot more to do for the Red Sox. A golf clap, I guess, for Breslov for making that deal, but question marks galore. And God damn it, spend some money, buy somebody, buy something, please. Bobby, final thoughts?
So the Red Sox traded for this cunty guy who went 6-12 last year. Yeah, sounds like a shitty deal.
Okay. Headlines with the obvious one.
Thank you there, Richard. MLB free agency is officially underway after the biggest free agent has been signed by the New York Mets. Juan Soto agreed to a 15-year, $765 million deal, the biggest in pro sports history. After losing out on Soto, the Red Sox made a trade with the White Sox for the left-hand ace, Garrett Crochet. The Red Sox sent catcher Kyle Teal, outfielder Braden Montgomery, and 2 other jamokes. The Celtics have been off since Saturday when they lost to John Morant and Marcus Smart in the Memphis Grizzlies. After 5 days off, they are home to take on the Detroit Pistons. Bruins lost a nail-biter on Tuesday night in Winnipeg, where they lost 8-1. Jeremy Swayman was in goal for all 8 goals. They look to bounce back tonight in Seattle to take on the Kraken. Bill Belichick was announced as the new head coach for the University of North Carolina today. It was sad, it looked awkward, and at times, I cringed. It's just weird. When finally the Patriots go on the road to take on the Arizona Cardinals after their bye week, Cardinals are favored by 5.5. This has been Headlines with the Obvious One. Back to you there, Richard.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. God have mercy on your soul.